My mom took $10,000 to hand my 14-year-old sister to a grown man for the night, then told me she's found her calling. When I begged her to bring Katie home, she laughed and said, "Mr. Creep is very pleased with his investment." I stayed silent. That was 3 months ago. Last night, she locked herself in the prison bathroom and cried so quietly I almost missed it. In my family, all the girls had to follow one rule: charm the older gentleman or watch your sister go hungry. You see, every Friday and Saturday night, my mom would dress me and my 14-year-old sister Katie in our nicest dresses and drive us to expensive restaurants downtown. We'd meet older men for dinner, men who paid mom cash afterward for our delightful company. She called it learning proper social skills. My mom started this after dad left us 3 years ago. Women have survived on their beauty and charm for centuries, she'd tell us while curling our hair. I'm teaching you valuable life lessons. She kept a leather journal with names and phone numbers and payment amounts written in her perfect handwriting. So when I turned 16, I spent my birthday at Morton's Steakhouse, laughing at some pharmaceutical executive's boring stories about golf. I tried to tell myself it was just dinner, that I could zone out and pretend I was somewhere else. But mom had trained us too well. We knew exactly how to tilt our heads when listening and touch their arms when they made jokes. The first few dinners seemed harmless enough. Sure, the men were old enough to be our fathers, but they mostly just talked about their jobs and complained about their ex-wives. They'd slip mom anywhere from $100 to $300 on the way out. For the girls' college funds, they'd say with a wink. Katie handled it worse than me. She started getting stomach aches before every dinner, real ones that made her throw up. Mom's solution was to give her Pepto-Bismol and tell her to stop being so dramatic. Everything changed the night mom lost her job at the insurance company. I heard her crying in her room, going through bills. The next morning at breakfast, she announced new rules. From now on, you need to be more affectionate with our dinner guests. A kiss on the cheek at the end of the night. Maybe sit a little closer. They're paying good money for your time. I watched Katie's face go white. Mom, that's gross. These men are like 50. These men are keeping a roof over your head. Mom snapped back. Would you rather be homeless? Is that what you want? The dinners got worse after that. The men got handsier. They'd rest their hands on our knees under the table or play with our hair. Mom would watch from across the restaurant and text us reminders to smile more. The payments went up too. $500, $800. One man gave her $1,000 after I let him hold my hand through the entire meal. I started snooping through mom's phone when she was in the shower. The texts made my skin crawl. Men asking for the younger one or saying things like, "She looks even younger in person. Perfect." Mom would negotiate prices like we were items at a garage sale. The breaking point came when mom measured Katie for a new dress, a tight red one that she ordered online. "Mr. Creep specifically requested you wear something that shows off your figure," she told my sister. "He's willing to pay 3 months of our rent for one special evening." That night, Katie swallowed a bottle of mom's X. I found her on the bathroom floor and called 911. At the hospital, mom coached us on what to say. "She's been stressed about school, took too many by accident. You know how teenagers are." I held Katie's hand and repeated mom's lies to the doctor. But inside, something finally snapped. When we got home, I started recording everything. Mom's coaching sessions where she taught us how to flirt, her phone calls negotiating prices, the cash exchanges in parking lots. Mom's choice for Katie's special evening was her former boss, Mr. Creep, the one who'd fired her. She agreed to let him take Katie to a hotel downtown for $5,000. Just them, all night. I hid in the trunk of mom's car when she drove Katie to the hotel. I watched her take an envelope of cash from Creep and hand over a room key. My hands shook as I called 911 from the hotel bathroom. I told them everything. How my mom was selling my little sister to a grown man in room 423. But when the police arrived, Creep answered the door in his suit, calm as could be. He told them it was all a misunderstanding. Mom showed up and said we were troubled girls who made things up for attention. She even cried a little, the same fake tears she taught us to use if dinner conversation got awkward. The officers left with just a warning about family disputes. Mom dragged us home in silence. That night, I woke up to an empty house. Mom and Katie were gone. All I found was a note. "Taking your sister to stay with friends who can help with her mental health. Don't try to find us." But I knew the truth. Those weren't friends. They were the numbers in her leather journal. The men who paid top dollar for the younger one. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. The text made my blood freeze. "Your mother says you're ready for overnight appointments now." I stared at the text, my hands trembling. The phone slipped from my fingers and clattered onto my bedroom floor. My heart hammered against my ribs as I scrambled to pick it up, checking the number again. Unknown, just like all the others in mom's journal. I threw on yesterday's jeans and a hoodie, shoving my feet into sneakers. The house felt too quiet, too empty. Katie's bedroom door stood open, her bed still unmade from when mom must have woken her in the middle of the night. Her stuffed elephant, Mr. Peanuts, lay abandoned on the floor. My fingers flew across my phone screen, calling Katie's number, straight to voicemail. I tried mom next. Same result. They'd turned off their phones or thrown them away. I ran to mom's room and tore through her closet, throwing clothes aside until I found the leather journal hidden in a shoebox. My hands shook as I flipped through the pages. Names, numbers, payment amounts, and worst of all, notes. Prefers brunettes. Likes them shy. Willing to pay extra for overnight. The most recent entry made bile rise in my throat. Katie, Mr. Creep, $5,000 deposit, $5,000 on delivery to Chicago address. Chicago, 3 hours away. I photographed every page with my phone, then searched mom's dresser drawers. In the bottom drawer, wrapped in an old sweater, I found a manila envelope. Inside were printouts of emails between mom and various men, discussing arrangements and special requests. One email chain with Creep went back months, negotiating prices and discussing Katie specifically. My phone buzzed again, another unknown number. The text read, "Your mother tells me you're very mature for your age. I'd like to meet you tonight. I'll make it worth your while." email. I wanted to throw up. Instead, I typed back, how much? 3 dots appeared, then $2,000 for dinner and whatever happens after. I swallowed hard and responded, I need to know you're serious. Send proof of funds first. While waiting for a response, I grabbed Mom's laptop from her desk. Her password was Katie's birthday. She'd never been creative with security. I opened her email and found dozens of conversations with men from the journal. Some included photos of me and Katie that Mom had sent, advertising us like products in a catalog. One email thread with someone named Richard caught my eye. He'd wired Mom $10,000 last month for what he called exclusive access to Katie. The emails got more explicit as they went on, discussing things that made my skin crawl. Richard mentioned a safe house in Chicago where business could be conducted privately. My phone buzzed. The unknown number had sent a screenshot of a bank balance showing over $50,000. Satisfied? The next text read, now, about tonight. I played along, negotiating details while my mind raced. If I could get this guy to meet me, maybe I could get information about where Mom took Katie, or at least buy time to figure out my next move. We agreed to meet at a steakhouse downtown at 8 p.m. He'd recognize me from the photos Mom sent him. I had 6 hours. First, I tried calling Dad. His phone rang 4 times before going to voicemail. I left a frantic message explaining everything, begging him to call back. Then I remembered why he'd left in the first place. He'd discovered what Mom was starting to do and wanted no part of it. He'd tried to get custody, but Mom had convinced the judge he was unstable. Next, I drove to the police station. The same officer from the hotel incident was at the desk. Officer Martinez, his badge read. He recognized me immediately and his expression hardened. I placed the journal on the counter along with printed emails. Officer Martinez flipped through a few pages, then pushed everything back toward me. These could be fake, he said. Your mother already explained you have a history of making up stories. Please just look at the evidence. My sister is in danger. Your sister is with your mother, her legal guardian. Unless you have proof of immediate harm, this is a family matter. I pulled up the photos on my phone of the journal entries, the emails, everything. Martinez glanced at them briefly. Could be photoshopped. Look, kid, false accusations are serious. Your mom could press charges against you for harassment. I left the station feeling hollow. Mom had gotten to them first, painted me as the troubled teen making wild accusations. Classic mom, always 3 steps ahead. Back in my car, I called the Department of Children and Family Services. After being transferred 4 times, I finally reached a caseworker named Janet. I explained everything, talking fast, trying to get it all out before she hung up. Janet listened, then sighed. Without physical evidence of abuse or a child in immediate danger, we can't intervene in custody arrangements. Has your sister been physically harmed? She tried to cull herself. According to our records, that was ruled an accidental OD. Your mother is seeking mental health treatment for her, which shows appropriate parental care. Another dead end. I wonder why the mom measured Katie for that specific red dress when Mr. Creep requested it. Seems like there's something calculated about how she's presenting this whole situation to her daughters. Mom had covered every angle. I drove home and tore through Katie's room, looking for anything that might help. In her diary, hidden inside her pillowcase, I found entries dating back months. She'd documented everything. The dinners, the way men looked at her, how Mom coached her to act. The last entry was from 2 days ago. Mom measured me for that gross dress today. I can't do this anymore. I'd rather be dead than let Mr. Creep touch me. Maybe if I'm gone, she'll stop making my sister do this. Tears blurred my vision. Katie had been trying to protect me. I searched Mom's room again, more carefully this time. Behind her bathroom mirror, I found a small key. It looked like a safety deposit box key. The bank name was etched on it. First National Downtown Branch. My phone showed 4 p.m. 4 hours until the meeting with the creep who'd texted me. At the bank, I tried to access the safety deposit box but hit another wall. Only Mom was authorized. The teller wouldn't even confirm the box existed without proper ID and authorization. Desperate, I drove to Mom's sister's house. Aunt Carol lived in a nice suburb, the kind with HOA rules and perfect lawns. She answered the door in yoga clothes, clearly surprised to see me. Have you heard from Mom? I asked. Carol's face tightened. Your mother and I don't speak anymore. Not since I found out about her business arrangements. You know? She nodded, looking uncomfortable. I tried to intervene months ago. Threatened to call CPS. Your mother said she'd tell everyone I was having an affair with my trainer. She had photos. Fake ones, but convincing enough. I'm going through a custody battle with my ex. I couldn't risk it. Even family wouldn't help. Mom had leverage on everyone. She took Katie to Chicago, I said. Sold her to some man named Creep for $10,000. Carol's face went white. Oh God, I should have. I'm so sorry. Can you at least watch this? I handed her a USB drive with all the evidence I'd collected. If something happens to me, give this to the FBI, not local police. Carol took the drive with shaking hands. Back in my car, I had 2 hours before the meeting. I stopped at an electronics store and bought a small voice recorder. Then I went home and changed into one of the dresses Mom had bought for our dinners, a black one that made me look older. I recorded a video on my phone explaining everything, uploaded it to a cloud account, and scheduled it to post on social media in 12 hours unless I canceled it. Insurance. At 7:45, I parked outside the steakhouse. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The man had texted me a description. Gray hair, blue suit, red tie. He'd be at a corner booth. I walked in, scanning the restaurant. There he was, exactly as described. Probably 60 years old, wedding ring glinting under the lights. He smiled when he saw me, the kind of smile that made me want to run. Instead, I walked over and slid into the booth across from him, turning on the recorder in my pocket. You must be, he started. Let's skip the pleasantries, I said, trying to sound confident. You know why I'm here, he chuckled. Right to business. I like that. Your mother raised you well. Speaking of my mother, I haven't been able to reach her. She took my sister somewhere. Ah, yes, she mentioned she was traveling. Business opportunity, she said. With Mr. Creep? Creep? His expression flickered. I wouldn't know about that. Come on. I leaned forward, forcing myself to smile the way Mom taught me. You all know each other. You share recommendations. He studied me for a moment. Perhaps, but that's not why we're here tonight. Actually, it is. I pulled out my phone. See, I have a problem. Mom took my sister to Chicago, and I need to find them. Help me with an address, and I'll make tonight very memorable for you. His eyes narrowed. Your mother warned me you might be difficult. She called you this afternoon, said you'd stolen some of her property and might try to cause trouble. She asked me to keep you occupied until she finished her business. My blood ran cold. Mom had anticipated this. Of course she had. How long? I asked. Oh, through the weekend at least. She said you needed to learn your place in the family business. I stood up, but he grabbed my wrist. His grip was stronger than I expected. Leaving so soon? Your mother already accepted my payment. Would be ashamed to disappoint her. I yanked my hand free and ran for the door. Behind me, I heard him call out, but I didn't look back. In the parking lot, I fumbled for my keys, dropping them twice before managing to unlock my car. As I drove away, my phone rang. Mom, I answered, putting her on speaker. Really, sweetie? Running away from Mr. Davidson? That was very rude. Where's Katie? Safe, which is more than I can say for you if you keep this up. Bring her back, Mom, please. Oh, honey, Katie's found her calling. Mr. Creep is very pleased with his investment. They're getting along wonderfully. You're sick. I'm practical. Do you know how much debt your father left us in? How close we were to living in our car? I did what I had to do to keep us afloat. By selling your daughters? By using our assets wisely. You could have had a nice life if you just played along. Now? Well, Mr. Davidson is very upset. He might want a refund, and I'll have to offer him something else. Maybe that video you made at the hotel? My heart stopped. What video? Oh, please. You think I didn't have cameras in the car? I have lovely footage of you calling 911, trying to ruin everything. I'm sure the police would be interested to see how you've been stalking and harassing successful businessmen. The call ended. I pulled over, my whole body shaking. Mom had been recording me. She'd turned my attempt to save Katie into evidence against me. My phone buzzed. A video file from Mom. I opened it and saw myself in the hotel bathroom, calling 911. The angle made it look like I was alone, possibly making a false report for attention. Another text. Come home, sweetie. We'll discuss your future in the family business. Or I send this to the police and tell them you've been making threats against Mr. Davidson. I sat in my car on the side of the highway, tears streaming down my face. Every move I made, Mom had already anticipated. Every attempt to get help had been blocked. She'd isolated me completely, turned me into the villain of the story. But I couldn't give up. Katie was out there, trapped with a monster, and I was her only hope. I wiped my eyes and started driving. Not home, never home again. I had one last option. One person Mom might not have considered. Dad might have left us, but he'd tried to fight for custody once. Maybe he'd fight again if he knew the truth. I drove through the night toward his apartment 2 states away, praying I could find him before Mom realized where I'd gone. The recorder in my pocket held my conversation with Davidson. The USB with Carol had all the evidence. And somewhere in Chicago, my baby sister was counting on me to be smarter than our mother for once in my life. I had to try. Even if it meant becoming a runaway. Even if it meant Mom would paint me as the disturbed daughter who'd lost her mind. Katie needed me, and I wouldn't stop until I found her. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, my headlights cutting through the darkness. Every mile took me farther from home, farther from Mom's reach, but also farther from Katie. My phone vibrated constantly on the passenger seat. Unknown numbers, Mom's number, more unknown numbers. I ignored them all. Around 2 a.m., exhaustion forced me to pull into a rest stop. I locked the doors and tried to sleep, but every passing truck made me jump. Mom had connections everywhere. Any of these vehicles could be carrying one of her clients looking for me. My phone battery was dying. I turned it off to preserve power and dozed fitfully until dawn broke through the windshield. My neck ached from sleeping upright, and my mouth tasted like fear and exhaustion. I started driving again, stopping only for gas and to use the bathroom. At a truck stop, I bought a cheap prepaid phone with cash. Mom couldn't track this one. I memorized Dad's number from my dead phone before abandoning it in a dumpster. Dad's apartment complex looked exactly as I remembered from the one visit Mom had allowed 3 years ago. Faded brick buildings arranged around a cracked parking lot. His truck sat in the same spot, rustier now but still displaying his company logo, Johnson's Plumbing. I climbed the stairs to apartment 2B and knocked. No answer. I knocked harder, then pounded with my fist. Finally, footsteps approached. The door opened to reveal Dad, thinner than I remembered, wearing a stained undershirt. His eyes widened in shock, then narrowed with suspicion. I showed him everything. The journal photos, the emails, the recordings. His face grew paler with each piece of evidence. When I finished, he sat heavily on his worn couch, head in his hands. He explained how Mom had destroyed his credibility during the custody battle. She'd planted substances in his truck, then called in an anonymous tip. The charges were dropped eventually, but the damage was done. The judge saw him as an unstable addict trying to steal his children. I begged him to help me find Katie. He made phone calls to old contacts, people who might know something about Chicago safe houses. Most numbers were disconnected. The few who answered claimed ignorance. Hours passed. Dad ordered pizza, but I couldn't eat. My new phone remained silent. No way for Mom to contact me, but also no way to know if Katie was okay. Dad suggested we drive to Chicago together, search the addresses from Mom's emails. It was something, at least. We loaded into his truck as the sun began setting. The drive took 4 hours. Dad filled the silence with apologies. For leaving, for failing to protect us, for being too weak to fight Mom's lies. Why does Mom seem to know exactly what her daughter will do before she does it? This whole phone call feels like Mom's been planning this for way longer than just today. She's got cameras everywhere and backup plans for her backup plans.